So before I get into this video, can I just read you a very kind email I got from Kelly? I'm not gonna say her last name. The subject is "Live for your videos." I keep checking to see if there is another video from you. I live for your videos. I am also turning you on to my friends and family. They love you too. You are a celebrity now, ha. Also, I did not know about how you get funds from us watching the ads. Thanks for letting us know. I told everybody about that too. It's the least we can do with all the knowledge you are sharing with us. Thank you so much for everything. And then she had a little quote from Mahatma Gandhi: where there is love, there is life.
Is this love that I'm searching for? Is this the something that I've been looking for? Yeah, I had to do that. Sorry about that. But that's very kind. It's very uplifting. You know, I got Silver and Goldman breaking my balls. You guys doing video after video after video about me. You know, what's the old saying about, oh God, what is it? I had it in my mind, just lost it. You know, any publicity is good publicity or whatever. Bad publicity is still good publicity. Silver and Goldman, appreciate some publicity, even though you don't like me very much. And the thing is, it's not like I hate you or anything. I don't hate people. You gotta dig deep inside. As she said, where there is love, there's life. You need to find some love. So yeah, Zero Hedge has an article, and we're talking about, we hear about the budget, and we're going to Trump's cutting the hell out of the budget, State Department, all these different departments, FDA, cut. Beautiful. Yes. Good. Cut that pork, baby. But having said that, Zero Hedge, the striking reason why the United States just spent a record $429 billion in 1 month. I always think of Elf. I love that line. I'm from the North Pole. The North Pole? Papa Elf sent me. Papa Elf! A record $29 billion in 1 month. Mama Yellen, Janet Yellen sent me. Yeah, you look like you came from the North Pole. That's exactly where I came from. On Thursday morning, the CBO released a surprisingly upbeat assessment of Donald Trump's proposed budget, calculating that it would cut the cumulative U.S. deficit by over 30% during the next decade. That's a pretty nice feat, isn't it? I mean, preventing the U.S. debt from spiraling out of control even further. That, however, may be an overly optimistic assessment, especially following the release of the latest monthly budget data, which showed that not only did the U.S. deficit surge to $90 billion, far above the $38 billion consensus estimate, and a NM compared to the $6.3 billion budget surplus of June of last year, but the U.S. also saw the biggest 1 month outlay on record at $429 billion, nearly $500 billion, 33% higher than the $323 billion in outlays just 1 year ago. What prompted this massive surge in outlays? The biggest reason for the outlier print is that, according to Stone McCarthy, outlays increased by roughly $60 billion in other items relative to baseline because the Treasury, double revision. Yep, it's coming. Because the Treasury revised up its estimates of the subsidy cost of student loans and, to a lesser extent, housing it guarantees. Here is the CBO explanation. Outlays for the Department of Education rose by $31 billion or 51%. Whoa. Because the department revised up. See, that was a double revision. First the Treasury, second one, meaning the double revision, Department Treasury of Education, excuse me. Outlays for the Department of Education rose by $31 billion or 51% because the department revised upward by roughly $39 billion the estimated net subsidy cost of loans and loan guarantees issued in prior years, a change much larger than last year's paltry $7 billion upward revision. If the effects of those revisions were excluded, outlays for the department for the first 9 months of fiscal year 2017 would have fallen by $2 billion or 3%. Outlays for the Department of Housing and Urban Development rose by $29 billion, primarily because why? Because the department made upward revisions in June of 2017, but downward revisions in April of 2016 to the estimated net subsidy costs of loans and loan guarantees issued in prior years. Boy, Donald Trump has his work cut out for him, boy. The cost of those loans is treated in the budget on a present value basis, not a cash basis, and the Treasury periodically revises these costs. It should be noted that the associated increase in outlays doesn't impact Treasury borrowing or debt under the debt limit. If not for these special factors, Treasury would have reported another small surplus for June. However, it did not. On the revenue side, things were just as bad, with the U.S. Treasury collecting only $338.7 billion, just 9% higher than the $330 billion in June of 2016. What makes the surge in the deficit especially surprising is that June is often a surplus month, as the Treasury receives large corporate and non-withheld individual tax payments in that month. And by the way, speaking of tax payments, Department of Treasury, Internal Revenue Service, P.O. Box 612505, Atlanta, Georgia. Joseph and Evelyn blank blank. Notice year, tax year 2015. Page 1 of 7. Summary of proposed changes. Taxes you owe, $1,800. Interest due, because it's been since 2015, $97. Total owed, $1,897. As Austin Powers would say, ow, baby. Very ow. But then again, I've been making some good chunk of change on these cryptos. And I've got wonderful subscribers who don't yell at me. Why do you got to put 2 ads in the middle, an ad in the beginning of these videos? Why do you have to do that? Because I get 55% of the revenue. I love you guys. You just helped me pay my IRS bill. Cryptos, you just helped me pay my IRS bill. Uncle Sam, not complaining at all. I'm not even going to, well, let me look into that. Are you sure I owe $1,800? This one's on the house. Uncle Sam, the check's in the mail. Check's in the mail. Matter of fact, Seabass is going to pay for that. Silver and Gold Man? Yeah, listen, if that gentleman over there is Seabass, then yeah, he's going to pay the bill. Could you imagine if I could pull that off? Silver and Gold Man, you're going to pay my tax bill. Now that would be funny. That was a little quote from Dumb and Dumber. Seabass said that. Silver and Gold Man said that. If that fine gentleman right over there is Silver and Gold Man, okay. Gosh, I crack myself up sometimes. I just have to throw some stuff in there when it comes into my mind. I can't help it. I just can't. I gotta say it. Oh boy. So, one theory explaining the shortfall in revenues, minus $1,800, that's about $1,897. Jay Snip's gonna be helping Uncle Sam and Donald Trump. One theory explaining the shortfall in revenues reflects taxpayers delaying the recognition of income in 2016, anticipating tax cuts this year. That revenue should eventually be recovered. About a third of the revenue was on the outlay side, which, with a large chunk due to the changes in the estimated subsidy costs described above, which apparently they were freaking way off. And I know why. I pay $1,600 a month here, and I got riffraff next door to me that doesn't. And it's riffraff. I've told you the riffraff stories over and over again. Oh, guess what? I got a new riffraff. Oh, God, guess what happened to riffraff? You know, keeping you up to date with everything. They're probably paying a couple $100 a month. Wife's pregnant, new baby, already got 3 kids. Keep going. I don't mind. I gotta pay the IRS $1,800. I gotta pay $1,600 rent. I'm the only one that works. My wife doesn't work. Again, I love you guys because you make this all possible. Well, partially. You're partially responsible, and I love you. Don't even get me on a riffraff story right now. So, large chunk of changes in the estimated subsidy cost described above, and my neighbors helping that, the housing cost is way off base. Why? Because they've helped everybody move in to hide this fact that we're really in a recession badly. Well, we'll just pay for everybody's rent. We'll pay for everything so that give them EBT cards, food stamps. We don't want anyone thinking there's a recession. And I'm paying for it. And you're paying for it. And look, I understand there's people who struggle. But I'm going to be honest. If I was struggling, my wife and I, when we first got married, we had the discussion how much she was working, I was working. I wasn't doing the YouTube stuff. None of that happened back in the day. We're talking early 2000s. And we want to have kids and yada, yada, yada. We got to make sure we can afford it. We need to be able to afford having kids. Yeah, yep. Little promotion over here. Got a better job over there. Okay, we might be able to pull this off. But if I fell into poverty and needed Uncle Sam's assistance, I got to be real. I'm Realist News. Evelyn, do you want to have a kid? Want to have another baby? We'll get more money back at the end of the tax return. We'll get more subsidy. We'll get more help, more subsidies. Diapers, all that stuff. We'll get it all. She would say, I don't want to struggle. I don't like living like this. Maybe we shouldn't. Other people, it's like a job. You're going to keep having kids. We're going to keep sucking off the government. And our stupid neighbor next door, that moron, hasn't figured it out. He's going to pay for it. Like Dr. Evil said on the last Austin Powers, listen up, everybody. You guys are going to cause a prison riot, and me and Mini-Me are going to escape. That's the dumbest thing I ever heard. I know guys on crack that make more sense than that. And then he has to do his Hard Knock Life video, which was fantastic. I'm almost done, I promise. Combining these two, well, where was I? Let me go back. Let me go back to the last paragraph because I'm throwing you all way off. And I apologize. One theory explaining the shortfall in revenues reflects taxpayers delaying the recognition of income in 2016, anticipating tax cuts this year. That revenue should eventually be recovered. About a third of the revision was on the outlay size, with a large chunk due to changes in the estimated subsidy costs described above. Based on the CBO revisions, it appears that the deficit for the fiscal year, which has 3 months left, will be in the $650 billion to $700 billion range, if not higher. Mostly due to the surge in subsidy costs of housing and student loans, which are guaranteed by the Treasury. Combining these two means that year to date, the deficit jumped $523.1 billion versus $399 billion last year. While many analysts had a deficit base case for fiscal 2017 at roughly $575 billion in the year, and by the way, the year ends on September 30th. The CBO recently revised its projection for fiscal 2017 up by $134 billion to nearly almost $700 billion, $693 to be exact. Most of the CBO revision reflects weaker than expected revenues. Webbot said that would happen, which means it will be even more surprised when it finds out what is going on with the outlays. To summarize, what the unexpected surge in government spending means is that quietly and mostly behind the scenes, the student debt bubble has begun to burst and the Treasury is provisioning for it in real time, with all U.S. taxpayers once again on the hook. Finally, since the $1.4 trillion in rising student loan debt bubble is expected to end up with discharges of 35%, if not higher, it means that over the next several years, the budget deficit will be incrementally boosted by approximately $500 billion of as America's taxpayers are once again taken to the cleaners. This time to bail out millions of liberal arts majors who, for one reason or another, just can't pay back their student loans. Which reminds me of the next video I was going to do. 40% of the Fed's interest on excess reserves is being paid to foreign banks, while you and I are being stuck paying these tabs. Perfect video to do next, isn't it? And that's what's coming. Take care.